become a great storyteller. If you embrace this today and you apply it to your life, I promise you it will take you from good to excellent, like this. You see this office that I'm in right now? It's all telling a story. I'm about to tell you this. So this is the office. This is where the things get done. I'm going to tell you about these 3 items. My girl got me that. That's our podcast. This is how I made a podcast, her and her family. Shout out to them. You see the Orlando Magic Pass. We just covered the Houston Rockets game. Interviewed Coach Ime Udoka. And our PFE logo, the company that we created with our mentor, Mike. Everything you do, you're telling a story. Every single thing that you do. Whether it's you have a big job interview coming up, they're asking who you are. Yes, you can always learn skills, but they want to know who you are. You're telling them your story, who you are. You're trying to talk to that girl of your dreams. She wants to know who you are. She may not say, tell me about yourself. That's not usually how those type of interactions work, but at the end of the day, they want to know who you are. Just like how you want to know who they are. Whether you're an athlete and you're getting recruited, you're going on tour, a visit, they're going to ask, tell me about yourself. Who are you? You're building a company, you're looking for investors, you're trying to give a sale. I don't know if you ever noticed this. We buy Apple products every single time. We don't even know the features of the next product because we're invested in who Apple is. We know that they deliver constantly. It's trust. Same thing goes for Elon Musk, all these big corporations. You don't even need to know the next feature, what's going to be on the next thing. You're going to buy it anyway. I'm saying all this to say is you have to be able to tell a story. Your favorite show, your favorite movie, the book you're reading, everything is stories. Podcasting, people are telling stories. Become a great storyteller. But in order to do that, you need to understand what your story actually is. What are the things that you've actually been through? Trauma, the ups, the downs, everything that you've ever done. You have to understand it. You could be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't know how to express it, if you don't have the attention of people because you're not a good storyteller, it doesn't matter. You could be the best singer in the world, but if you're only singing in your shower and in the car, you're limiting yourself to possibly selling out stadiums because you're not telling your story the right way. Maybe you don't want to. Most people probably would want to. You're watching this, you probably want to. You want to achieve the most you could possibly achieve. You have to be able to do that by telling your story. And that requires you to be able to sit with yourself, put the phone down. It could be when you're driving, it could be when you're working out, it could be when you're in your room, when you're in your dorm, wherever you are, and actually understand who you are, why you are the way you are, what habits you have, what intentions, where they come from, your trauma, learn how to deal with it, learn how to internalize it, learn how to process it. How can I possibly understand your story if you don't even know your own story? It sounds simple, but understand your story completely, inside and out. Everyone wants to become a better communicator, and rightly so. Everything comes from communication. But before you focus on how you talk and how you articulate yourself and the pauses and getting rid of filler words, you can't even do any of that if you don't know your story. That's what it starts with. If you can become a great storyteller, the next time you meet your significant other's family, or you're meeting a coach for the first time, you're meeting a potential employer, a potential investor, a networking opportunity, you have to be able to tell your story. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So this hoodie right here is a Fox Sports hoodie. I had the #1 broadcasting internship you could possibly get in Los Angeles. And at the time, I was putting all my eggs in the basket of becoming a broadcaster before I fell in love with business. That was the hardest internship to get. And I was doing it in a very unconventional way because I started a podcast when I was 18. Somehow or another, I ended up forming a great relationship with one of my mentors, Rob Parker, who was on ESPN, First Take with Stephen A. Smith on Fox Sports. And he had a show called The Odd Couple, still does, on Fox Sports Radio. He invited me out there. No money to my name at the time. So all the money, I'm not going to tell anybody that at the time, but my last dime on that plane ticket, got out there with the hotel, met Rob Parker in person. I've only done podcasts and I was recording out of my car at the time because I live in Florida. I go out there and in the studio, he's on the other side of the glass. If you've ever been in a radio station, you have the glass, the producer sit on one side, the talent sits on the other side. Well, I was on the other side of the glass while he was live on air with Chris Broussard. Shout out another one of my mentors. And I was learning from all of them and then just taking what I liked and then putting my own spin on it. So I'm sitting on the other side of the glass, and there was an older lady in the lobby with me, or on the other side of the glass. No idea who she was. I was just being kind, creating conversation. She asked me to tell her about myself. I did, just to explain who I am, where I'm from, what my goals are, being gracious, being kind, being confident, telling my story. Had no idea who this lady was at all. Just thought she was a very kind older lady. Well, I'm trying to get this internship, and it was so hard for me to get this internship. Everyone was coming from big schools and prestigious colleges. I was coming from a state college, saving my money. The reason why I'm here is to do my podcast. Felt like I was faking it till I make it just a little bit. So you kind of have to. Fast forward, trying to get this internship, and they were like, hey, you know that old lady that lady you were talking to in the lobby? I was like, you're talking about the older lady, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah? They're like, yeah, she runs all of this. I'm like, you talking about the older lady in the lobby? She runs all of this? She's like, oh yeah, she's in charge of all of this. That's how I ended up getting my internship at Fox Sports. The #1 broadcasting internship. Why do I tell you this? Is because you never know when your opportunity is going to come about where you have to tell your story. And it may be an opportunity. It's not going to be like, hey, by the way, on Friday next month, you're going to tell your story and it's going to change your life. It could be in the hallway passing, but you have no idea who that person is. No idea. But because you told your story correctly, presented yourself in the best way possible, that one conversation can change your life. So I have this here in my office to remind me of that. Not only to always be ready, but remember that your opportunities aren't just how you circle on a calendar. They happen all around you. But you have to focus on yourself in order to take over the outside. You have to take over the inside. And it sounds cliche, but all the books you read, everything that you study, everything that you hear, the people that have made it, that's why we have our podcast, this is how I made it, they all talk about being able to conquer your thoughts, conquer your emotions, conquer yourself. And then once you do that, the opportunities come pouring in. But how do you do that? It starts with understanding your story. That's the first most important thing. So I want you to comment your story. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me what you're trying to get to. How can I help you? Because I'll help you. I'm telling you, it changed everything for me. I'm going to tell you one other story. This right here is why I do what I do. So Josh and I met each other at Nike. He moved from the UK. I was coming back from my internship. You see that? Come on now. I was coming back from my internship. Everyone thought that this was before I left for my internship. So everyone thought that when I went and got my internship in LA that I wasn't coming back, and that definitely was my intention, and it would have been my intention, but that's a story for another day. But I had this dinner, and everybody wanted to throw me a dinner, and they wrote on this Nike ball, because they became family to me, and the way I grew up, I truly believe that you put the right people in your life. You don't have to just accept whatever's in your life if it's not good for you. No, you put the right people in your life, it'll change your life. I was putting the right people in my life, and I still do. And they all signed a ball, told me how much I mean to them, and they put me in a circle, and they were praying for me. It was the most beautiful moment of my life, one of the most beautiful moments. And I'll never forget that. And so I put this right here in my office to remind me why I do what I do, and it's to take care of everybody I love. That's part of my story. It'll always be a part of my story. It is something that I'm very, very, truly proud of. And until I make them even more proud, I just keep that there to remind me why I do what I do. So you have your why. You have why you do what you do. Remember it, own it, hone in on it, and be able to tell it. And you can tell it in so many different ways. Understand your story. Become a great storyteller. Promise you, it'll change your life. Please drop a subscribe button, drop a comment. I want to know your story. Let's be great together. Appreciate y'all tuning in.